Gosh. Today we're going over tips and tricks for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that you absolutely should or at least need to know. Just as a little note, we will be going over tips and tricks for both the pre and post game, so use these tips and tricks as intended. If you're struggling picking the starter, I highly suggest pick Fuecoco. Only because, a spoiler alert, but this is what he fully evolves into. This is Fuecoco's final evolution, Skeledirge. Now, Skeledirge is a fire and ghost type, and statistically speaking, he is just the best partner to have. Especially if you're doing Victory Road, because these are the gym leaders. We have a grass gym, we have a psychic gym, we have an electric gym, we have a normal type gym, we have an ice type gym, we have a ghost type gym, we have a water type gym, and we have a bug type gym. And if for those of you who don't know that much about typing advantages, then let me give you a hint. Fire types are super effective against bug types, grass types, ice types, and steel types. And ghost types are super effective against other ghost types and psychic types. And Skeledirge is a fire and ghost type, which means he is super effective against 5 of the 8 gyms. That's not even counting the fact that he knows Earth Power, which is a powerful ground type move, which is super effective against electric types. Which means this crocodile right here is super effective against 6 of the 8 gyms. So overall, Skeledirge is just statistically the best starter you want to have. This game is fully open world, which means you can go through any of the 3 stories, the Victory Road, Starfall Street, and the Path of Legends, in any order you like. Although I will highly suggest you do Victory Road first, only because, well, it's been established since the first ever Pokemon game that if you beat a gym leader, you can catch higher level Pokemon, and that has not changed. And so if you want to catch really high level Pokemon, you have to finish the gym leaders first. So therefore, you should really start out with Victory Road story first, and then do the other 2. You know, if you want the best experience possible. If you talk to her and take the languages class, which I don't currently have because I already finished it, but if you take the languages class with Mr. Who was it? Right, if you take languages with Mr. Salvatore and then talk to him outside of class at least 4 times, then he will reward you with a Galarian Meowth, which you can then evolve into Berserker. If you go to the Cascarafa, you go to the city where you face the water type gym leader, you'll find this girl who will trade you a Paldean Wooper for a normal Wooper, which you can then evolve into a Quagsire. Please take note that Quagsire and Berserker, while you can get them in the game, they don't have Pokedex entries. So they won't count as the overall 400 Pokedex entries. So, yeah. Scattered throughout Paldea, there are these 4 shrines scattered across the area that have 4 specific legendaries inside of them. In order to open them, like I've done, you have to find these ominous black stakes that are scattered across the regions. The thing is, I've already done this. I have already gotten the 4 legendaries, but the thing is, in order to show you guys, I have to do a completely new save file, and I don't want to do that. But what I will do is direct you to a Pokemon YouTuber by the name of Awesome John Plays. Now, Awesome John Plays, he basically has any tips and tricks you will need for this game, so I highly suggest you check him out if you have any questions on like where the stakes are, what is the best sandwich stats you need, and basically anything you will need to know for any Pokemon game, really. As far as I can tell, these 4 legendaries, Chi-Yu, Ting-Lu, Wu Chen, and Ching Pao, I'm probably butchering the crap out of those names, but we're going with it. As far as I can tell, these 4 legendaries are not locked into the post-game, which means you can basically catch them whenever you want throughout the story. The only issue is they are level 60, so in order to catch them and for them to listen to you, for that matter, you will at the very bare minimum finish all 8 gym battles in order to catch these 4. But other than that, they are not locked to the post-game, as far as I can tell, so you can, in fact, take level 60 legendaries and take out the other 2 stories. And or the Elite Four, if you really wanted to. Speaking of the Elite Four, fun fact, if you face the Elite Four, you can heal your Pokemon in between battles. Unfortunately, you cannot go to the Poke Center in between the fights, so which was something I wish I knew beforehand. I did end up beating the Elite Four, but it did take me a few tries. Speaking of that, if you go to the mountain area around the Elite Four members, you will see a Garchomp flying over. And I want you to know that this Garchomp is extremely strong. Like, I literally caught this thing on accident and then put it in my boxes because I thought I was never going to use it. And then once I ended up using it because the last Elite Four member is a Dragon-type user, so good luck with that. And the Garchomp I found, well, he absolutely destroyed that Elite Four member. And by destroyed, I mean it literally one-shot KO'd all of his Dragon-type Pokemon with just Dragon Claw. With a simple Dragon Claw. Like, this Garchomp is insane. Especially the one I have, which I renamed Garchamp, mainly because he has a ground terrestrial type, which means he basically loses his Dragon typing, so he's not weak to other Dragon type moves at all. So if you want a really strong Pokemon who can destroy one of the Elite Four members, here's a Pokemon that I highly suggest you take out. Or catch, at least. Torch Song is broken. Next up, if you know anything about a Pokemon game, it's that there are trade evolution Pokemon, which are extremely annoying to face. The best way to find the trade evolution Pokemon is actually not to trade them, it's actually, if my thing will load, checking the Tera raid battle, because the only 3 trade evolution Pokemon in this game, which is Gengar, Slowking, and I believe Skizzer, all 3 of them have a chance to pop up in Tera raid battles. So make sure to check out all the Tera raid battles you can, so yeah, you can find them real easily and that you don't have to waste your time trading a Pokemon to another person and hoping they give it back. Plus, if you find this trainer in Levincia City, which is the city that you face Lono in, she will trade you a Pin Urchin for a Haunter. Keyword is trade, which means not only will she give you a Haunter, but that Haunter will immediately evolve into Gengar. So you got 2 birds with 1 stone, all by finding a Pin Urchin, which is really easy to find in beach areas. Like this specific area specifically. Next up, if you go to Medali City, and again, I'm most likely butchering these names, so I apologize in advance. Anyway, if you go to this restaurant in Medali City, and then talk to this trainer over here, then you can actually change your Pokemon's Tera type. You will need 50 Tera shards of a specific Tera type, so yeah, you're gonna have to do some grinding. Speaking of grinding, if you have like problems leveling up your Pokemon and stuff, I highly suggest you find any and all Tera raid battles that you can find. It doesn't matter if they're going to be super easy or super difficult, I highly suggest you do them, mainly because they give you a ton of rewards, so it's just worth it. Doesn't matter if they're super easy, barely an inconvenience, or if they are extremely difficult to the point where you just want to crawl up into a ball and hide forever and never show your face again. Just do them because they just give you so many good items. Let me demonstrate. If you win a Tera raid battle, then you'll get experience candies, a Pokemon's remains, feathers, which can slightly increase their stats, Tera shards, and a lot of items that you can sell for in the shop for lots of money. Next up, if you go to Montevera, which again, I'm most likely butchering it, so sorry about that. And if you go straight to the right, you'll find this guy who has an Abomasnow. And if you talk to him, if you have any bottle caps or anything, you can basically hyper train your Pokemon. If you don't know what hyper training is, then how have you played a Pokemon game and not known anything about hyper training? Basically, what hyper training is that you see how this Ditto has pretty good HP and everything else about stats are different, or like decent, I mean. Basically, what hyper training does is that it changes its stat from pretty good or decent into the best possible stat a Ditto can have. Also, go into options and make sure autosave is off, because that's just a give me for Pokemon games, but in case you don't know why that's important, let me explain. Essentially, what turning off autosave does is that if you are facing a specific Pokemon and you accidentally kill it, then you can just close your game, reopen the game, and just do the entire thing over again, and hopefully not kill it this time. Anyway, that pretty much should be it. Again, check out Austin John Plays if you have any more questions that you need answering. And for now, subscribe and stay tuned for more.